walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight.
Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We are here to discuss something a little bit different to what we would normally be doing. Obviously, we did have a debate planned. That will happen, just not today. It will happen. So, yeah, really, really interesting thing here. Now, a few months ago, well, probably about a year ago or just under that, there was talks of a takeover at Newcastle United. Now, we are all aware of how desperate Newcastle fans are to try and get rid of Mike Ashley, because and their reasoning is not even unreasonable, right? He doesn't put money into the club. He doesn't let them be competitive, and he's just made all of the wrong decisions. And for a football fan, if that was my club, I would want him gone as soon as possible. So yeah, we're going to delve into it. We're going to delve into what is obviously what the takeover looks like and where we are at the moment. We're also going to discuss what impact this has for the so-called top six, and all of this. So we're going to delve into a lot of things. There's been a lot said, so we're going to get into it. We're going to discuss everything that's being said, because most importantly, I think we need to understand why this is actually now back on, because there were issues, and I've spoken about them before, regarding why this wasn't allowed. I mean, I think Aaron said, "Oh, it's because Premier League don't want anyone to break into a top six." Well, that's bullshit, right? That is complete and absolute bullshit. So we'll go through all of that, and we'll go through your comments as well. Kenny says FFS was looking forward to Prime Gabby. Yeah, that will happen. Manny says Toon Army. What a great time to be a Toon fan. Well, it isn't done yet, but you know, the whisperings, the voices that are coming out of Newcastle now, very much more positive than it were, 4 or 5 months ago. So yeah, it is a great time. It does need to still happen. We're also going to talk about what this means for Steve Bruce, because he'll be under a bit of pressure if this takeover happens. StreamYard been lacking all day, has it? This is the first time I've used it today, so I wouldn't know. Shush Kenny, absolutely. Imagine if Newcastle got relegated under new owners. I mean, that just simply wouldn't. Well, it depends on when this were to happen. You'd assume that if this were to happen before January, because don't forget there will be a transfer embargo put on Newcastle until the takeover was done, if it were to get to that stage. So of course it depends on where they're taken, the sort of when the takeover happens, because you'd assume with new owners they would back and invest into the club in January, to avoid that exact problem. So for that exact reason, they would invest in January. Of course, they would get better players. Now, that's not guaranteed to mean they would stay up, but they would have a much better chance of staying up. So, go on, the Magpies, absolutely. Glazers also don't put money into a club, which is why I don't back the Glazers, Mustafa. I've never backed the Glazers, but they do Manchester United the Glazers allow United to still be competitive to a degree. They still put money in. They just run really poorly. But that's a different story for a different day. Got you there. Also, Glazers sold a bit of United, so that's a step in the right direction. They've not sold United, right? They've sold shares of United. Very big. Well, that is sort of selling United, but they've not sold any. They're not selling big shares. They're not selling anything that is going to, help United. These are a little minute shares that they get more money from. So it's simply not, the Glazers has sold shares. They're selling United. They're not. They've sold minute shares. And these shares won't get invested back into the club. So the money the Glazers make from these shares will go to the Glazers, not to United. So there's the difference. But we're not here to talk about Matt. Well, we are here to talk about United, just not Manchester United. Mason Greenwood is guaranteed to be in the under-23 squad later. I couldn't possibly reveal that. Could not possibly. For them, you fake fan. Oh, dear. Can I have a debate show, Kenny? Because this dude is fucked up sometimes. I see we're typing I mean, find something to debate on. Sure. Wait, which owner wants to buy Newcastle? Saudi Arabia. I don't think Mustafa was aware of who wanted to take over Newcastle. Yes, Saudi Arabia. Big money move here. Big up to Dylan United. Are you doing the Smith Rowe thing? That stream is scheduled for today? No, not today. It will happen, as I say, at some point in the near future. Just for some personal reasons, that won't be happening today. So we will do it. It's just not yet. I blame the Glazers for Martial bad form. He's been a contender for Ballon d'Or if LVG stayed. United certainly won't be challenging anything. But let's talk about some of the things. So we'll start with Liam Kennedy, who works for Newcastle World. He's a writer. He says, a very positive day. Sources at the club who say they have been working on something to break logjam since end of July. Bullish and positive all sounds good. Piracy, the main issue, hence separation. See hashtag cans is doing the round again. I don't really understand the cans bit, but yeah. Argyle podcast, yeah, done. Doubt can buy a Premier League club. He killed a guy 2 years. The one thing you ought to want to remember quite quickly is the Premier League have zero morals. They really don't care. Neither do FIFA or UEFA. I mean, FIFA are currently doing a World Cup in Qatar when many people have lost their lives building stadiums. The Premier League consistently sells their broadcast rights to, very dodgy places. So yeah, no, none of that actually matters. So yeah, sorted really. That's that really. Someone talking about financial fair play, like financial fair play. That really, someone is stupid enough. Who's this twat? Football Manager. At Football Manager. Director and executive producer. Man's chatting shit. Well, financial fair play was dealt with in the courts by Manchester City. That's ended. There is no financial fair play. We know this. The City have just spent $100 million on Jack Grealish during the pandemic here. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. And some of the other comments are just absolutely abhorrent. So Luke Edwards, who works for Telegraph, said this is it. There's still work to do, hurdles to overcome, but all the details are here. This is the most significant movement in the NUFC takeover for 18 months. Lots of people, including me, are very confident this will now go through. So let's look a little bit more about this, shall we? So the main issue with this deal has been piracy, right? Now, for all of us that know, piracy is basically when you watch something without paying for it. Now, I'm sure we've all streamed a Premier League match, hasn't been in the UK, and we've streamed it. 3 p.m. kickoff is notorious. So we've all done this. Well, basically, Saudi Arabia had banned beIN Sports. So Qatar-based beIN Sports have been a major opponent to his Newcastle deal, pointing out to the Premier League clubs that the ban in Saudi Arabia and the piracy of its content was doing massive damage to sports rights holders, which is true. So essentially, the Premier League are trying to sell their product. They sell it to beIN, but then, Saudi Arabia ban beIN Sports, and would just, people would watch it via a stream. So that has been the main stumbling block, because, of course, the Premier League aren't really too keen on letting a country or an owner take over a Premier League club whose country they don't let stream or don't buy Premier League rights. Stream the legal version of it anyway. So that is obviously going to be the main issue. Right now, that issue was dealt with, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, because apparently, if I read correctly, the Saudi Arabia have agreed to allow beIN Sports back and committed to removing all pirate websites when informed of them by beIN. It is also understood that Saudi Arabia is also in active discussions over beIN's claims for damages totaling more than $1 billion due to piracy. The announcement follows a gradual thawing of relations between Saudi Arabia and Qatar, reflecting the Qatar's ruler, Seki Tamin, posing for a photograph with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman last month, wearing shorts and smiling. So, there's also a lot of politics behind this, and believe it or not, Premier League and politics, it's almost like, life, really. Let's go to some comments, though. Will this really happen, says Munzi? I think it will. I think the main issue has always been Saudi Arabia not, allowing beIN into their country, beIN Sports and streaming the Premier League legally, and just allowing a lot of pirate websites, so streaming websites, to stream the Premier League. That has always been the issue, because Newcastle United, the Premier League aren't going to be too keen on one of their products, shall I say, because Newcastle United essentially is a product. Right, it's a product of the Premier League. It's its own company, but it's a part of the Premier League, and the Premier League sell that to these countries. So each year when it changes, it's new products coming on. Essentially, at the relegation, new teams coming up. So they're the new sort of products. A bit like when Audi have a new part, a new thing in their store, that's a new product. This is essentially what it is. So Newcastle United is a product of the Premier League, essentially, because they play in that league. The Premier League tried to sell all of these rights to countries like Qatar and America and Ireland and all of it. They sell these image rights, right? They sell the rights to broadcast the Premier League. Now, more importantly, why are they going to let a club be taken over by a country that refuses to stream the Premier League legally via Qatar's beIN Sports, which is, the Middle East broadcaster? Why would the Premier League allow that country to then own a football club within their product, within their sort of image rights? So that was always the main issue, and the Premier League were dead against it. Obviously, because why would the Premier League want to lose? Why would the Premier League want to let someone take over one of the clubs within their sort of bracket, who technically have been losing the Premier League money, right? They lose the money for all of that. So and damage the Premier League in such a way. So the Premier League were always against this, as were beIN Sports. So that was the main issue, the piracy of the content of the Premier League. Now, that deal being done, between beIN and Saudi Arabia, that is, big news. That is big, and that is about 75% of the issue sorted. Right? That really is. We're talking a huge amount of the issue was the piracy. And without the piracy, that big issue is no longer there. Right? The big stumbling block isn't there, because why would it be? So, I think this will happen. We'll talk a little bit more in a bit about the what this causes for the Premier League and what it does for certain other teams, because we've seen this before. Right, Manchester City, a prime example of this. So we can look at what happened with Manchester City when they were taken over in 2008 and see what happened and where they are now. And if they're run correctly, which, you know, that is part of the issue. Having the money is one thing. Using the money effectively is the other thing. So, you know, that's the key bit. But I do think it will happen. I do think it will happen. Rashford is back, yes. Hope you're good, matey. I am good. I am all good. All very good. Ollie's at the wheel. Tell me how good does it feel? Big up, Niall. This is massive. This is massive. This is massive. Tune into my NFL if you love NFL. It starts at 7:30. Make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. Big up, Niall. Loving the stream. Hope Newcastle do get taken over. They're still a big club. Just shame what happened to them over the years. Well, they've been run poorly. Abhorrently. I mean, I feel so bad for Newcastle fans. I'm a Plymouth Argyle fan, and they relegated us to League One. Not them personally. They were just the ones who beat us at home park, won the league whilst we got relegated, you know. So technically I should be quite bitter and wish them hell. I don't, because I've actually thought Newcastle were quite I thought they were quite sensitive around the whole issue down at home park when we were both in the Championship, you know, years ago. We're talking years ago. We're talking probably about 10 years, actually, when that happened. So I have a lot of love for Newcastle, and they've just been run so poorly. And we're going to talk about the changes of what that could happen. And do I need to start thinking about a Newcastle show? We're going to talk about that because we may have to, depending on, you know, how well they do. Premier League approval secured. Is it? Has it actually been secured? That's the thing. Has it actually, you know, been properly secured? Yeah. I'm not so sure. Not so sure. This obviously will, you know, there will be developments on this very quickly. Liam says, like the blue touch paper, and Newcastle will take off. Never doubt the incredible fan base are a great city and the pull of the beautiful club. Wow. So Rob, again, I don't know how, you know, I don't know how well this is, but Rob on Twitter says, I've been told by my mate of mine, a can't disclose job, that a statement is due tonight confirming that Premier League, Newcastle United and SJH have settled a dispute and the club is sold with immediate effect. The O&D director's test is complete. I'm not an in, but trust him, Newcastle takeover. So this is huge. This is huge. And just being live for 20 odd minutes, there's already murmurings that a takeover is going to be completed, which is huge. This is huge, right? This is mad. So let's look at the money that these owners have. So the top 10 richest owners at the moment, Sheikh Mansour is the richest with 23.2 billion, right? 23.2 billion. The next club after that is Roman Abramovich with 9.6. Then, believe it or not, third richest owner is Stan Kroenke with 6.8 billion pounds. And then fourth is Guo Chang, I think is how you pronounce his name. Wolves for 5.2 billion. The estimated amount that the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund is 320 billion pounds. Billion. We are talking 12 times the size of what Manchester City is owner is worth. Do you know how mad that is? And that is going to be serious investment. Now, I'm not expecting Newcastle United to suddenly just go spend 320 billion pounds on transfers. Of course not. That investment fund obviously is going to be spread over a lot of things. That's still a shit ton of money. We're not talking off, got a few million here, a few million there. It's got a lot of it, in property or something, right? That is money that is ready to be spent. Like big money. This is big news. Premier League approval has been secured. Newcastle will become an OFC. I don't mind this because Newcastle United, at least they're a big club. At least they've got fans. And their fans, they have a fifth. I think if a Newcastle fan would be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have like a 55,000 seater stadium. Yet right now, even with Mike Ashley there, and the fact that Newcastle United haven't seriously challenged since I've been alive, that's a lie, but I wasn't really able to remember when you last were really competitive. They still sell out. They sell out. With Mike Ashley and Steve Bruce, they sell out every home game. It is incredible support. I'm pretty sure they were selling out in the Championship, you know. They have a really loyal fan base. Man City, well, I have no comment. Richest club in the world. you soon will be. You soon will be. Hope a takeover does happen. My cans past the expiry date. Yeah. Oh, that right. Yeah. That makes complete sense now. That does make sense. Premier League just approved. Wow. Great for our region. It is great for your region. The northwest has always needed something, haven't they? They've always needed that little something to do, haven't they? Toon Army, I agree. Good for the region. 100%. If this happens, they will have a top manager and top players trust. We'll see. We'll see. But we'll talk a little bit more about what actually happens next and what I think happens next. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and turn the bell notification on as well. Because it looks like we're about to have a Newcastle show at some point soon because they've just got big time. A big time. So make sure you do all of that lovely stuff. It does massively help us, and we have lots of different content catered for everyone. Gonna go in for KDB. I don't think so. They will do well though. Great for the region. Kendall will be happy if this happens. Wish the Glazers would go. And we're now going to talk about what effect that has. So right now let's look at the top four, shall we? Let's look at the top four. You've got Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Manchester United. That is the top four, right? That is the top four. The chances of that getting broken into, very, very limited. Very limited. So, what happens next? Well, straight away, if Newcastle spend their money in the right way and do well, then they could break into our top four without a shadow of a doubt. So you've got all of this. So one of them would have to drop out. One of these clubs would have to drop out, regardless of managers and all that. Who do we think is currently the worst run club at the moment? Well, Manchester United, right, out of that top four. So realistically, Manchester United may never get top four ever again. Never again. Because, you know, Manchester United, shit, done. To the wall. So yeah, obviously what that means is Newcastle United then become challengers and all of this. So I think this is serious. This is a serious problem for Manchester United. They are not going to like this. Roman Abramovich, you're like, yeah, that's cool, that's cute. I have a way, will work. Sheikh Mansour, he'll probably be like, bit more competition, don't really mind. I've still got a really great system. Because don't forget, Manchester City have built a system. They've not just... Manchester City don't just chuck lots of money to players, do they? What they do is they're more sensible about it, and they've built the infrastructure and all the stuff. They buy the young player, all of this, right? So Manchester City have spent years perfecting their business. So even without lots and lots of money, they're still a very well-run club, and you'd assume that they have got that pull power. Chelsea, again, they've had years, 20-odd years now, to perfect their business and their strategy, and they're competitive. They have Roman Abramovich, who has got money. I mean, just because you haven't got £320 billion, Chelsea and Man City have always been able to fund money. They've been able to fund transfers, right? I mean, for me, Chelsea spent £250 million on what, last summer. So not summer just gone, the summer before that. So they're still going to be able to spend money. Manchester City just bought Jack Grealish for £100 million. So these clubs will still spend money. Liverpool, yeah, Liverpool might also be in a bit of trouble once, Pep leaves, but not Pep, Jurgen leaves. But you'd assume that Liverpool are still well run. But it could now become a fight, when Jurgen leaves and if Liverpool don't replace the likes of Salah and Mane and all of this, if they don't replace them, they will drop down and they'll be fighting with Manchester United for fourth. Like Manchester United will fight for fourth. If this happens and Newcastle United's new owners invest the money wisely, invest in the infrastructure, invest in the youth academies, all of this, and build the club. I mean, build the club. Then they'll overtake United, right? If they get a good manager in with good players, but not PSG style players. I don't mean just go get 6 attackers, fuck the rest of midfield. What I mean is if they can get a good team, a good squad, then and a good manager, then of course Newcastle would jump above Manchester United, possibly even above Liverpool. So there is that element to it. Now, before I get into what happens with Steve Bruce now, let's go through some comments. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It really is an interesting one. Will not respect. Oh yeah. I was just reading something about English won't respect the Saudis. I have no issue with this because this is how football is, right? This is ultimately what football is. Manchester City do it, but cool. It's just how football is nowadays. I've come to accept that the days of that small little club like Plymouth Argyle to get to the top of the Premier League and because we've done it the right way, that's limited. You need money. I've no issue in Newcastle doing this because ultimately that's just what football's about. Manchester United have money, City have money, Liverpool have money, Chelsea have money, Arsenal do have money. That's just how football is nowadays, right? Football is about money. You've got to do it right. Big up Niall, don't agree with it, but that's my opinion. Look, you can disagree with their human rights, you can disagree with whatever about it. It's going to happen because that's just football. Football lost its morals the minute it's got into bed with Sky Sports. The minute it went behind a paywall, that's when the Premier League lost its... In fact, when the Premier League became the Premier League, that's when it lost its moral compass. Simple. It's simple. It's not had morals ever since it went behind that paywall. Like, the minute it got into bed with Rupert Murdoch and Sky and all of this crap, that's when it lost its moral compass. So, you just have to accept that football has lost its moral compass. I mean, as I said, the next World Cup is in a country where people have died building these stadiums. So football lost its moral compass years ago. There's no point being angry. There's no point being like, this is unacceptable. Just got to discuss it. You just got to accept it for what it is because it ain't going. And more clubs will end up like this. And, I can't be hypocritical because if Simon Hallett, and I love Simon Hallett, who is my owner, if he said, Saudi Arabia want to buy Plymouth Argyle, I can't sit here and be hypocritical and say this is an absolute disgrace. And then if it were to happen to my club, I'd be like, woohoo, I'm rich. Like, no, that's not simply how you do things, right? So I can't be, two-sided in terms of it. So, congratulations to Newcastle United. If this does go through, look, it's big for the club. It's big for their fans. I'm jealous, of course I am. I'm jealous because I would love an owner that had 20 billion pounds. I would love that, who could buy players and take us big time. I would love that. Unfortunately, life isn't all about that, and some of us get enjoyment of, beating a team in League One. Heck, that's just football. Ibrahim says, good luck. Good luck to the Premier League, I say. PIF have stakes in Disney and own McLaren. I could see us getting an F1 track. What, Newcastle? What, an F1 track? I don't know. Have you even got space for an F1? Mate, I love F1, mate. Have you even got space for an F1 track? I mean, mind you, you're going to need at least probably around 3 miles of just empty space. Do Newcastle have 3 miles of just empty space? I don't know the northeast too well, but sort of an airfield normally is a prime location, unless you're going to do a street race, and that causes, I don't like street races, you see, so if you don't do one of those. But no, I mean, yeah. Also, they have an F1, well, it's in Bahrain, but Saudi Arabia have just gone and got their own F1 race. So you might not get an F1 track in Newcastle. You just might not. Steve Bruce crying in bed tonight. Feel bad for him, United legend, but next manager being fired is so coming soon. It is. It will. But we'll talk about that in a second. This channel is for all football fans with banter, decent views, guests, and watch-alongs, plus F1. I like how we just go a bit of F1. Mind you, the Formula One, we're going to do a new show, well, 2 shows. We're going to do a pre-race weekend show on a Friday, and we're going to do checkered flag show on a Sunday at 8 p.m, where basically I'll just go through what's happened over the weekend, give my views and opinions on that. Top 6 at least for Newcastle at Takeover, 100%. We're dropping out of top 4. Yeah, you are. Please like and subscribe. Conte gonna go to Arsenal, Newcastle. That could happen. Definitely could happen. On paper, it should be Liverpool because of the squad they have, but they have an elite manager. Kenny, Steve Bruce will be consoling himself with a doner kebab with extra chili sauce and a side order of cheesy chips. This is it really. Now, what about Arsenal and Spurs? Oh, sorry, I was just talking about big clubs. With Ashley still, Sports Direct ain't going to Saudis. Saudis are like, anyway, I thought Mike Ashley was selling Sports Direct anyway. I do think that. Money destroyed football anyway. This is true. Premier League destroyed the EFL. Don't need to say that again. We're now entering the final hours of Mike Ashley's ownership. Well, do you know what? Go get your cans out. Have a great time. Like, genuinely, just really celebrate it because you guys do genuinely deserve this. Blue City says, no disrespect to fair fans, but any Newcastle fan who talked down on City now begging for money for months is ironic. Glad to see another great club going to return to be great. No. And this is exactly the comment. This is why I don't, I joke that Man City have no fans. I joke that it's at the empty end. But I don't go, oh, what City do is abhorrent, because that is double standards by, a country freaking mile. It's why I'm not going to sit here and go, Newcastle United, how can you back this, blah, blah. Because if this were to happen at my club, of course I would back this. I wouldn't deny it. I'm not denying that. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, well, they got, it doesn't matter because it's my club. That's double standards, and that's just, for me, it's not how I roll. Right, we're seeing a lot of new people, so if you do hit that like button and that subscribe button, but that's not how I work. I'm fair, because at the end of the day, if this was my club, you can bet I'm jumping up and down, singing, flecking, "We Are the Champions," probably in my boxer shorts, drinking about 50 Stellas. Right, what an image, by the way, for you guys. But that is probably that is probably what would happen. I'll be like, yeah, it's huge. Right, so we have to be fair when talking about this. Brilliant ideas now. Thank you. We're building a new 20k arena, bars and stuff on the quayside. I never thought we had room. We had the room. Yeah, all of that's a bit different to an F1 track. I'm not having a go. You just you genuinely need like an old airport. Old airports in England are probably normally the ones. Thruxton down in wherever they are. They have an old airport. Silverstone was an old airport. Don't know what Brandsatch was. Probably just a shit ton of free space, really. So you do need a lot of free space, and for a Formula One track, you need a lot of free space. So I don't know if you get a track at Newcastle, but you'll get a great club. Manchester is red, by the way. For how long? For how long? Genuinely, that is the question. For how long? If United don't act seriously, we're going to drop out of the top 6. Well, with Newcastle now being taken over, there's a very good chance that is going to happen. Very good chance. Very, very good chance. But I want to, before we wrap this up, I want to talk a little bit about Steve Bruce and how does this affect Steve Bruce. Now, this could go one of 2 ways, right? Way number 1, the new owner comes in and goes, do you know what? I'm going to allow Steve Bruce to have one transfer window. I'm going to go buy him some players and we're going to see what he can do. Right. That's option 1, right? Whatever option you want to go for. Doubt that's the option. That's one option. Option 2, they sack him, go get another manager. As I said, there's only 2 ways this goes. Steve Bruce stays, Steve Bruce goes. Now, me personally, I don't think they're going to give Steve Bruce that money. Why would you? What's he achieved in his... what will he achieve? What's he achieved in his career that even warrants him getting a shit ton of money given to him to then see what he can do with it? Nothing. So, what's more likely is a new owner will go, okay, who's Steve Bruce? They'll know who he is because these guys, they love football. They know about football. They'll also be advised probably by a lot of fans who will go like, oh, Mike Ashley's gone. Steve Bruce out. Steve Bruce out. And look, you can't argue. Steve Bruce is probably not the manager you want when you've just got a new takeover and lots of money. Right? It's probably not the way you want to go. So, for me, they'll get rid of Steve Bruce, and it won't look bad. Well, it will look bad on Steve Bruce, but he's at that age now where I don't think he really cares too much. So, you know, Steve Bruce will probably lose his job, it's fair to say. And Newcastle will go get a new manager. Now, Conte's available. Conte is going to want to, you know, he's going to be up for taking a job with 320 billion pound owners. He'll probably be up for that. You know, there's decent managers out there. Money talks as well, by the way. So, you know, if there's like, you know, manager, for example, like let's go mad, shall we? Let's say Pep is available. Some reason. Let's just say some reason the City fans have continued to annoy Pep, and Pep's like, I'm gone. I've had enough. Right, cool. This new Newcastle owner goes, oh, hi, can we talk? And they'll sit down and they'll be like, okay, how much do you want? And he'll be like, well, I need lots of backing and all that. So, you know, it's going to need to be someone who can, and this won't be, for me, this won't be a one-hit wonder. This will look at City, right? They brought in, Mark Hughes was there, wasn't they? And then they brought in Mancini. They won something they won the Premier League with Mancini, for goodness sake. But they had Hughes, they had Mancini, Pellegrini came in, and they were competitive and they won stuff, right? But I don't think they really took that level as big club until Pep came in. I think that was the turning point of everyone going, okay, City really do mean business, and City could win a Champions League soon. Right, so these are all the things that, you know, Newcastle fans, this could be a bit of a slow burn. This could be a slow process. So it's going to need probably maybe two, 3 managers. I know I've said this name a lot, but I'll continue to say it. Someone like a Graham Potter might be a good man, you know, to take you up the league, right? Because ultimately, this is a different process to where Man City were. But maybe it'll be a foreign manager. You know, Nagelsmann isn't available, but a Ten Hag, right? He could become available. Zidane, as Johnny says, Zidane could be available, and he could be. These are all the managers you know that Newcastle are going to be looking at. P45 right away, like Mark Hughes would say. That is just true. By Rafa Benitez back, you could see ultimately, that would be huge, right? Rafa is loved by Newcastle fans. I mean, this man literally got relegated with Newcastle, didn't leave the club. Rafa Benitez didn't leave when they were in the Championship. That I don't think you know how much love and trust that gets from Newcastle fans. He's adored at Newcastle, absolutely adored. You give him a shit ton of money, this man takes you places. So, you know, Rafa could be a good shout. Vel says, got my internship at an accounting finance placement, so gassed. Big up, Vel. Big up, Vel. Antonio Conte to Newcastle. Again, that could happen. Vel wants to manage Newcastle. Get Pep to Newcastle, please. Keep him away from City. Conte likes to win straight away. Can't see Newcastle having instant success. Could be 3-4 years of investment. Conte would. And Conte's not against the idea of he's not against the idea of a project, but I think he wants a project that ultimately at the end of it has success, right? So these are what managers want. Like ultimately they don't mind, you know, taking a little hit. It's not going to be a little hit because their bank balance will be going up and up and up. So it's a big job, right? Ultimately, they won't have an issue with going to do a project as long as at the end of that project, success isn't guaranteed, but there's a strong probability that there would be success at the end of that. So I think Conte would take it. You'd, of course, have to sit him down, present the business plan, the ideas, the philosophy, where you want to see the club, and all of this. If Conte believes in it, Conte will take the job, just like any manager would. Because essentially, a manager, you're selling that club to the manager. You're going, look at what we've got. This is what we want to offer. This is where we see the club in 4 or 5 years' time. Right? The length of, you know, an Antonio Conte contract, probably. So you do all of that. And if Conte goes, okay, well, by years 2.5, 3, I could be, you know, challenging for Premier League or in Europe, all of these. And then, you know, by year 4 or 5, I'm winning the Premier League. He may take that because he may be invested in the idea of it. He may like the idea of what the new owners want to do and all of this way want to take him. So ultimately, Conte might do it, but you'd have to, like anyone, sell the club to him and be like, look, this is what our plans are. This is our philosophy. This is what we're going to do in the next 4. This is what we're going to do short term. This is what we want to do in January. This is what we want to do next summer. Then, you know, go from summer to the summer after that, and year by year by year, sell him what you want to do, and then it's up to him if he believes in that project, because it's all about belief, right? He went to Tottenham. Daniel Levy sold him the club, and Conte went, I don't believe in the project, so he didn't take the job. Conte would do it. But if he believes it, it's all about the belief, isn't it? And that truly is it. It's the belief. Ryan Lowe to Newcastle, do fuck yourselves. That's the one manager you cannot have is Ryan Lowe. Klopp to Newcastle, no. Klopp loves Liverpool. He got the Europa League final in his first season at Inter. There's no suggestion that Newcastle can challenge for an FA Cup first season. If they get the right players, in, they could do that. No, will Newcastle be a force if this happens? Well, of course they would. The owners have got £320 billion. That instantly makes you a force. Rodgers could go Newcastle, take them up again. Could do. Likes of John, Joe, Shelby, and Joe Linton will be on. Oh, 100%. What is Zidane at Newcastle? Zidane at Newcastle? That could happen. There's no reason why that couldn't happen, is there? But I mean, as I said about Conte, it's all about belief. If you can get a manager to believe in your club, he'll take the job, providing you've got the money there to pay him. If you've got the money to pay him, and you're willing to invest in that club, what managers would take top jobs. I mean, ultimately, if Plymouth Argyle have £320 billion, I can't see us going to get a Pep, right? But you can certainly get a decent amount of manager for that and decent players. It's all about belief. Really. Milner should manage Newcastle whilst playing for Liverpool. Nope. If Newcastle wanted a successful project, they should get Ten Hag. That would be probably on top of. For me, there's two managers I'd get. If for Newcastle, and these, I'm not talking big managers. That comes in years' time, right? You don't just go out and get a Pep first thing. It's not how City did it. It's not how, it's probably not the best way to do it, right? And you certainly probably couldn't do it. So I would be looking at guys like Ten Hag, Graham Potter, Rafa, all of these guys, and go, right, Rafa might be, he wanted a job. He don't love Everton, does he? He's a former Liverpool manager, for goodness sake. So he'll definitely be like, oh, sorry, Everton, Newcastle want me back and I like it there. Or he might stay. You never know. So I would look at those three managers. They're just the ones that I'm thinking of. So you could get one of those. Why not? I think they're all, good managers in their own right. Ten Hag is vastly proven at Ajax. He's been to Europe, got to a Champions League semi-final with Ajax. Yes, of course, they have Frankie de Jong, Matthias de Ligt, and all this, but he knows the project. He's a good manager as well. Good tactician, right? Then you've got Graham Potter, who's done a remarkable job at Brighton, considering their budget, the improvement year on year that Brighton has seen under Graham Potter has been remarkable. So a Graham Potter to Newcastle wouldn't be it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be bad for Newcastle. Ultimately, anyone better than Steve Bruce is an improvement. But a Graham Potter, I think, could take Newcastle to that next level. He might not be able to take Newcastle to winning, but he could take Newcastle to that next step. I do believe that completely. Rafa, do I need to talk about why Rafa would be good for Newcastle? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because I think everyone in their right mind knows why Rafa to Newcastle would be a good move for both of them. So ultimately, there's stumbling blocks, but it happens. If this happens, Newcastle will be bigger than PSG. Not bigger, they'll be richer. But big in terms of what? Big in terms of money, yes. Big in terms of success, no. Bigger in terms of club, no. That takes year-on-year improvement. Anyone expecting Newcastle United to go from, I'm not sure where you are in the league, 15th, I think, or something like that. If anyone's expecting them to go from there to champions of the Premier League within 1 year, completely wrong. Not happening like that. What would happen is, it would be a gradual process. So you'd fight for top 10, then get into Europe, then continue to progress and all that, or go from 7th or 8th straight to top 4. So Newcastle 18th. Okay, well, definitely don't expect from 18th to top a league in one season. Just unrealistic. Newcastle need to temper their expectations. I think a lot of them, but I don't think a lot of them have the expectation of we need to win the league now. It needs to happen now. I think what they just want is a competitive club with they can get behind again. Because ultimately, I think they lost that for year on year and year. So expectations are going to be a bit low, but that's fine. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. Ten Hag is going to Barca if everything goes well. Maybe he will. But Velv, I'll ask you a question. Barcelona have no money. Newcastle United just been taken over by an owner that's worth £320 billion, or that's how much is in the investment fund. Who's your fucking go-to? Potential gladiators of Europe in Newcastle with all of that money, or Barcelona, which are in deep shit. I know which one I go to. I'm going to the north of England. I'm going to the northwest. I ain't going Barcelona. If you want to go to a place because it's Barcelona and they've got the history and all of that. If you want to be History FC, Barcelona is right there. Go join it. If you want to join an exciting new project that has got a big backer, go Newcastle. And the Premier League being the biggest league in the world, that's also going to have a pull. So yeah, you think you're getting 900k a week at Barcelona? You're sadly mistaken. That's for sure. Haaland to Newcastle? Why not? Why not? Depends, really. I mean, it's a madness. It is a mad one. Have PSG won an FA Cup? No. Newcastle are bigger. Well, I was about to say as Newcastle won the Champions League, but to be fair, neither are PSG. But That's a story for a different day. But yeah, you never earn 900k in Newcastle at Barca. Mbappe to Newcastle. Mbappe's going Real Madrid, isn't he? Real Madrid aren't completely fucked, so you can get Mbappe. Poch to Newcastle. Ooh. Again, not bad, not a mad shout. Poch wouldn't be a mad shout. It's not. Spurs fans would cry. Yeah, Poch wouldn't be a mad shout. Goodwill project. PSG isn't the right job for him. Not for Poch won't win you stuff. Poch will take you from where you are now up the league. He would get you in a good place. Maybe with the right backing, he could win an FA Cup. I don't see him winning much more, but for where Newcastle are now to where they want to be, Poch in the mad shout. No, I'd agree with that. Gabby, where's Gabby? Gabby's unavailable. I'm not going to go into why, but yeah, we'll do that soon at some point. Well into Newcastle. Oh, Jesus Christ. You can certainly tell the chat's got fucking bored. Or the chat has completely lost their fucking heads because why would they be mentioning Wellens? But yeah, we're probably going to wrap it up there. A big thanks to everyone who's been watching. Of course, this is going to be a continuous story. And when there's stuff like this and all of this, when there's big stuff happening, we will come on and talk about it. We're going to want to expand a little bit more regarding what we do. Timings are of course the main thing. So yeah. Make sure you do hit that like button though. Hit that subscribe button with the bell notification on as well. Mark says, I'm a Newcastle fan. I'm so excited for this to go through. Look, I completely understand that. And when this does go through and, if Steve Bruce does lose his job and get sacked, we'll obviously cover it and we'll talk about it. Normally we'd I'll put the link in the chat and Newcastle fans can come on and have their say. But I've got to go and do something, but make sure you do hit that like button and hit that subscribe button with notifications on because we will go live on this subject more and more. You can bet. Sterling could become a Newcastle player. Very much so. Financial fair play would probably stop us buying Haaland, right? More realistic that we buy Danny Ings. Financial fair play is no longer a thing. Well, it is a thing, but it's not really a thing. Financial fair play is one of those things that is sort of there, but it's not really there. Like it's there on paper only, but you can get through financial fair play is pretty much done anyway. Man City approved of that in the courts, haven't they? Big up Niall for representing, not a problem. Mike Ashley ruined this club from the start. He did, but now you've got your club back. You can work on improving it. We'll be back at 9:30, where I'll be doing a stream where I'll be picking my best under 23 Premier League team. So join me for that. Will be interesting. There. Football Fan App, our goal podcast. If you want to hear me talking about my club, Football Fan App, it'll go up sometime today. But yeah, we'll be back at 9:30. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Lots of new people, which has been great to interact with all of you. Obviously, Newcastle fans, lots of new Newcastle fans. We'll probably have a Newcastle show at some point soon because you're about to hit big time, which we love to see. But yeah, thanks for watching. As I say, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Which manager would you have? Ten Hag or Graham Potter? Or Poch? Or Rafa? That would be my fault. Yeah, I think that's fair. What I might do is I've had a good brainwave. Newcastle fans, subscribe because I'm gonna do a stream on I'm gonna do a serious stream about we're gonna guess the investment of the club. Right. I've got a really great stream for you guys, so make sure you check it out. that will be done over this international break. So we're going to have me. We're going to assume that I've just become director of football at Newcastle United. We're going to look at what we're going to do with all the investment and all this, and we're going to do it over like a 5-year plan and let's see what team we can end up with. I would have Conte. It's not a mad shout. Not a mad shout anyway. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, guys. As I say, Newcastle fans, hit that subscribe button because I've just had a great brainwave idea for a stream that we're going to be doing in the near future. But until then, thanks for watching and peace out.